Hi there, it's Dave Altavilla for HotHardware.com here with a quick look at Lenovo's Yoga 3 Pro Hybrid Ultrabook. This super thin and light 13-inch notebook by Lenovo weighs just 2.6 pounds, and it's actually thinner and lighter than a 13-inch MacBook Air. It's also based on Intel's all-new Broadwell Core M 14nm low-power processor architecture for cool and quiet performance and great battery life. Also on board our eval unit was 8 GB of DDR3 1600 RAM memory, a 256 GB SSD, 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4, 2 USB 3 ports, a 4-in-1 flash card reader, Windows 8.1, a 3-cell 44-watt-hour battery, and last but not least, a super high-resolution 3200 by 1800 IPS LCD touch display. But the real hook with the Yoga 3 Pro, however, is its signature watch band hinge. This hinge design is actually pretty innovative and makes for a very strong mechanism while allowing the machine to bend and contort into various positions like tent mode, stand mode, and tablet mode, in addition to traditional notebook positions as well, of course. Lenovo also builds in custom software for the Yoga 3 Pro called Harmony settings to help control your inner chi, apparently, and also add a few functional assists like deactivating the keyboard when in tablet or stand mode, or activating motion gesture control features as well in usage positions that can benefit from them. If only we could have had the Windows logo on the front of the machine function as a return to start menu button like it does on many tablet devices, tablet mode would have been even more useful. Though frankly, as it is, the Yoga 3 Pro does make for a bit of an unwieldy tablet. It's definitely still a nice, useful feature addition, but for casual use, or if you fire up a bona fide drawing app that can make use of it in tablet position. The keyboard area of the Yoga 3 Pro is nicely laid out with comfortably shaped contoured keycaps that are backlit as well. Key travel is a bit shallow, which isn't surprising given how thin this machine is at just half an inch thick at its thickest point. Still, it's not quite up to Lenovo keyboard standards, which are arguably some of the best keyboards in the notebook business. Regardless, with a bit of learning curve, you'll be up to speed fairly easily on this typing deck in no time. There's also a large touchpad area with multi-gesture control and a very comfortable flat black dimpled finish wrist rest area. On the right side, Lenovo has relocated the power button, and though it sure is tiny, it does work quite well at the bottom of the row closest to your reach. From there, working up, you'll find the One-Touch Recovery Novo button, the Display Rotation Lock button, volume control, 2-in-1 audio jack, and a USB 3 port with always-on charging. On the left side is the DC-in combo USB 2 port, which also allows you to either plug in the Yoga 3's charger for use or use it for data via its USB 2 interface. And there's also a micro HDMI port and, yes, an SD card reader. Not surprisingly, since the Yoga 3 Pro is powered by Intel's 4.5-watt Broadwell Y variant of the Core M series, the machine is also stealthy quiet. Though there are no visible vents, rather just a couple of speaker ports on the bottom, there is a fan that does spin up very quietly under load. Incidentally, output from the speaker system is reasonably loud but a bit flat and uninspiring, as are most ultra-light notebook speaker systems. Certainly another standout feature for the Yoga 3 Pro is its very high-resolution 3200 by 1800 IPS display. Though some have poked at its color gamut capability, specified at 72%, we found it to offer good accuracy, brightness, saturation, and contrast. In addition, viewing angles, specified at 170 degrees, are excellent as well. And of course, at its 3200 by 1800 native resolution, you get a ton of pixels to work with. And save for the occasional Windows scaling issue, which certainly isn't Lenovo's fault, images and text and multimedia content look super crispy and tight. Finally, though it could offer a bit more brightness at 300 nits, it gets the job done and it's still noticeably brighter than some Ultrabooks, including Lenovo's own ThinkPad X1 Carbon. But perhaps what's more interesting to some of you is how did the Yoga 3 Pro handle in our battery of benchmarks with its new Intel Core M processor? Well, in our battery of benchmarks tests, it fell right in the middle of the pack of competitive Ultrabooks based on Intel's previous generation Core i5 ULT series processor. In a few standard benchmarks like SunSpider and PC Mark 8, LAME and Coding, The Yoga 3 Pro actually scored in the top quadrant of our test group, besting some of those previous generation Ultrabooks. In graphics and gaming tests like the 3D Mark Cloudgate and Far Cry 2, the machine fell to the lower quadrant of our test group. However, when this hybrid device is compared to premium tablets like the iPad Air 2 or Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro with respect to graphics performance, it's significantly more powerful, as we saw in our 3D Mark Ice Storm testing. And so for this sort of tweener product of sorts, the Yoga 3 Pro's performance is much closer to that of a high-end Ultrabook rather than a tablet. Battery life, on the other hand, with the Yoga 3 Pro is excellent, and the machine scored one of the best times we've seen from an Ultrabook in either standard web browsing tests or when we fired up our worst-case Battery Eater Pro test. As configured, the Yoga 3 Pro we have here retails for an MSRP of around $12.99, which is a decent value when you consider its high-resolution 3200 by 1800 touch IPS display, Core M processor, and all of the advantages its watch band Hinge affords. Compared to the likes of a similarly configured MacBook Air 13, the Yoga 3 Pro is an even better buy, we think, with the aforementioned advantages. Make sure you stop by HotHardware.com for our full review with all the benchmarks, however, and be sure to thumb up this video if you liked it, and subscribe to us here for additional reviews, event coverage, and of course our 2.5 Geeks webcast. I'm Dave Altavilla for HotHardware.com, and this is Lenovo's Yoga 3 Pro Hyper Flexible Ultrabook. Thanks for stopping by.